The season has started and all the cars are here. And we can see great FP1, very different FP1 from the testing that we saw last week. And it shows what some teams have really improved on and what some teams that we believe were hiding were hiding. Like I told you in our video before, the ahead video about the Red Bull and the Mercedes, I told you the Mercedes are hiding a lot of things. Though they are bringing up little bits, but certainly they're hiding some things. And with this testing, we've seen that. Also, if you look at Mercedes last year and in 2022, after each day of practice or qualifying, they go back to their sim to find some little things they can bring to the car to make the car faster. That is what Mercedes have always done. That kept them in that game last year. That was why they were able to get the second position. Will they be able to use that same trick this year to put them ahead? Because they are looking for a way to get their drivers in comfortable position and to make sure their drivers have confidence in the car. Because this is a learning curve for them against 2025. Because if they can get it right this year, it means 2025 you understand? But what do we see today? We saw closer battles. They were already racing already, the Red Bull and the Mercedes. But because it's sunny in the FP1, most of the big teams came out in their medium tires because they know they will use the soft tires in FP2 and also in qualifying and in race tomorrow. Now, they did long runs, they did their normal fast laps and a lot of long runs, the simulation. But on the fast lap, I could see that the Red Bull, the Mercedes and the Ferrari are very closely knitted. On pace, they are very close. The Aston Martin and the McLaren are a little bit far away from them. And the Aston Martin, the McLaren and the Williams are not far from each other. The Williams are a little bit away from those last two teams. That's the Aston Martin and McLaren. The Williams look ahead of their lower teams. These teams are far off. The Haas is very far off the pecking order. I don't know how Haas are going to do it this year because there are so many speculations. The speculations are Günther Steiner got a bigger sponsor. When he brought it, he was asking for Gene Haas's idea to be a part of the team on a long term and also to be a shareholder, but Gene Haas does not want that. While some others say because, which I believe is true, because he wanted some more investment. Gene Haas does not want to put much investment into the team. It's like what we have, we should be able to get much out of. He has forgotten that these are new regulations. What they add then will not supplement or augment for the new regulations. They need to improve. They need to see how they can be competitive. But the Haas team are far off where they were last year. Really far. Now, looking at Alpine, I told you they're having inconsistency, especially with the aerodynamics. They talked about last year that they want to improve. FIF1 should please open up the engine so that they can tweak their engine and make their engine meet up with the normal everybody. But from what we are looking at, it's not tweaking of engine alone. This year, with all the investments they are having, the aerodynamics is worse. Alpine team is nowhere to be found. Though they are still distance away from the Haas, but competitively, they are nowhere. Alpine. Wow. The Steak team are doing a very great job. They look in the mix, but on the soft tires, the Williams still looks faster than them. The V-Cab. Yes, let me talk about the V-Cab. On soft tires, were the fastest team today. They got the fastest lap time, but they had the soft tire run with McLaren. And remember, Zach Brown, the CEO of McLaren, had been complaining about this sisterhood, motherhood team between V-Cab and Red Bull. If it is going to be like this, I know his complaint is warranted to be more. He will open up more. He will shout because he does not expect the V-Cab to be close to them and he does not expect the exchange in which they have with the Red Bull to make them closer. I made a video about it. You can go and watch the video. The things that Red Bull provided for their sister team, that is the V-Cab. The rear suspension from 2020, the front suspension, so many things in which the Red Bull are also using to learn from what they have in their present car so that they can know what they are going to build or develop. It is a sensible thing. So this marriage may be a marriage meant for doom for other teams in which McLaren, I know Zach Brown will come out and start shouting about it. He will rant about it again. I trust Zach Brown is going to rant about it. Let me talk about the Mercedes. Today they look fast, and after this simulation, the FP1 FP2, they are going to go back to UK, do some little simulation, do some trick and bring it back tomorrow because they want to make the car faster. If Mercedes can see that they can get on par with Red Bull, they are going to push for a win, and the earlier they can start winning, the better it is for the team. The Red Bull are back again. Max Verstappen started where he left off last season. But unfortunately, the Mercedes and the Ferrari were able to pull their strings and get back. But still, Max Verstappen never forgot how he left off 2 seasons ago, even coming into last year, complaining about upshift and downshift in every practice. He started with the upshift and downshift and vibration in this FP1 session, complaining about it. And to me, I think because he plays too much games, he stays on simulators, he cannot differentiate sometimes between the virtual reality and the reality of the real world. I think that is his problem, because naturally there will be vibrations. These cars don't have high-end dampers that will take away the shock and the unsprung load from the car, so you will feel all the vibrations in G's. So you'll be having like 2 to 3 G's vibration from the transmission. So if he's complaining about it, I don't know why he keeps complaining about that, but he needs to work his way out to get himself back to not complain about all these things. That is what I feel he should do. But the Red Bull are still looking like the team to beat, seriously. But Mercedes and Ferrari are up there. In the FP1, the long runs of the Mercedes, the Ferrari and the Red Bull looks very, very close. It's going to be a tight season. In the evening session, that is the FP2, will tell us where these teams really are and how they will really perform this season. From what we are looking at, it shows that the 3 teams are doing something right. The McLaren is looking good, but the Aston Martin, they are really improving and they are looking like a team around those 3 teams. The McLaren still look some pace off, but in FP2 I will be able to determine where the McLaren is. But the 3 best teams in this FP1, the Mercedes, the Ferrari and the Red Bull still look ahead in the pecking order, but they are doing a great job. In the FP2 I will be able to tell you more of what we are seeing, but this looks encouraging for the season. FP2. Now we are seeing the reflection of where we are really going to, but some people will still say no, tomorrow we will know. Now, to begin with, Valtteri Bottas was under investigation for driving in an erratic way in the pit lane. It was still windy, very cold in Bahrain, and we noticed after the first practice session, the Haas didn't use their DRS at all. I don't know what was wrong with their DRS. We will check. We will give you the update tomorrow what was wrong with their DRS. But the main news coming out is a motivated Lewis Hamilton is difficult to compete with. If Lewis Hamilton have a 50% car to compete and is well motivated, I think he's very difficult to beat. We might be seeing that tomorrow in qualifying. From what we've seen, the Red Bull and the Ferrari have turned down their engine. We don't know the simulations they are running up to. Everybody will turn up their engine tomorrow, because from what we are hearing, Mercedes didn't really turn up their engine. But from what we are seeing, when everybody turns up tomorrow to the party, there will be a lot of music, a lot of Afrobeat, certainly. On long run paces, all these teams look quite majestic. The Red Bull still looks strong. The Aston Martin looks very strong on long runs. The McLaren looks decent on long run. The Mercedes looks decent. But let's go to what really happened. Lewis Hamilton was able to set the fastest lap of 1 minute 30 seconds in the FP2, and that time was relative to how he was able to grind, and I think it was that same tire he was able to use for the whole 22 laps he was able to run all through with the simulation and everything, and he used that same tire to set 3 major times and ran other iron fuels. Looking at that, that shows quality pace in the Mercedes without even turning it up totally, and his teammate was about 2 seconds behind him, and the closest Red Bull was Max Verstappen, was 5/10 behind him. Qualifying tomorrow, we will see where the true colors and the true pictures of all these things are. Certainly, the Ferrari looks merely competitive. They didn't show much of their hand, and the Aston Martin came to the party after giving a good account of themselves in FP1. They really showed their hand, telling everybody they are right there. Also, coming to the party, we have the McLaren. Piastri did a decent job, was 4/10 in 5th away from Lewis Hamilton. Good pace for him, but Lando Norris made some quite beautiful mistakes and he was last on the grid. Nico Hülkenberg of Haas, the one pace Haas, showed it again. They are 5/10 away from Lewis Hamilton. Like I said, not everybody turning up their engine, but have they really turned it up? We don't know. I mean, the Haas, have they really turned it up? We don't know. Lance Stroll doing a good job, but still like about 3/10 away from his teammate. Charles Leclerc, decent 5/10 away from his own teammate. Sergio Perez 10. Now we are having a battle of 6 different constructors in top 10 in FP2. Is it realistic? We can see the V-Cab, after showing some decent pace with their soft tire in the FP1, they are little aback. Alex Albon with the Williams is doing well. Logan Sargent is improving. He has really improved and he's showing he's improving. The V-Cab still struggling. Also, the faraway team, Alpine, are struggling. The Kick came under the lights and they are struggling. What is really happening with this team? Tomorrow we will see how this team present themselves. But from what we are looking, the Mercedes has been hiding a lot of their pace and they might be showing up to the party, to the challenge, to see where they are. And not to forget, some of these teams still have some updates coming up in the loop. And with Red Bull still going podless about 4 or 5 races from now in Japan, Have they gone on the wrong concept or they are right on the right concept? By tomorrow evening, during qualifying, we will see their true pace. And on Saturday, during the race, we would see what they owe. The Red Bull are really sandbagging or that is their true pace. Will they decide to go back to a podless or change their concept? Have they made a mistake or we are seeing an overexcited Mercedes that has no pace but are just showing what they think they have while Red Bull are sandbagging? We don't know yet, but everybody will give account of themselves during the race and after the race on Saturday. Up until FP3 and qualifying video tomorrow. I love you guys. Watch out for the race on Saturday. Like I told you, it's because of the fasting that will start on Sunday, upper week. I think the preparation is coming along. That is why the first two races in Bahrain and Saudi Arabia, which both are Muslim countries, would not have any entertainment or sport on Sunday. Let's watch out. I love you guys. Bye. Cheers.